You know that strange feeling where last summer was about 15 minutes ago, and somehow the year 2018 feels like it happened last Tuesday? But when you were a kid, one summer felt like an entire geological era. You had time to get bored, invent a game, become obsessed with a bug, forget the bug, discover a stick, name the stick, lose the stick, grieve the stick, and still have 3 weeks left before school. Now you blink, and it's tax season again. So what happened? Did time actually speed up? No. Your brain just got very good at throwing your life into compression mode. And the first reason is brutally simple. When you're 5, 1 year is enormous. It's 20% of your entire life. A year is not a year to you, it's a continent. But when you're 40, 1 year is only 2.5% of your life. The same 12 months become a smaller and smaller slice of the whole story. So your brain compares time against the amount of life you've already lived. To a child, December is a distant mythical kingdom. To an adult, December is just an email you forgot to answer. But that math is only part of the trick. Because time doesn't just feel shorter because you're older. It feels shorter because your days start looking too similar. When you're young, almost everything is new. New classroom, new people, new rules, new fears, new words, new places, new embarrassing moments your brain files under "please never forget this." Your brain is constantly making fresh memories because it has no idea what matters yet. It saves everything. The smell of a school hallway, the color of your friend's bike, the exact shape of the ceiling when you couldn't sleep. The weird cereal you ate one summer that somehow still lives in your head rent-free. Childhood feels long in memory because it is dense. It's packed with landmarks. Adult life can be beautiful, but it has a dangerous setting. Repeat. Same alarm, same commute, same coffee, same inbox. Same little rectangle glowing at your face like a tiny job portal to anxiety. And your brain is not a historian. It is not carefully recording every Tuesday for the museum of you. It is a lazy survival machine with excellent storage management. If today looks almost exactly like yesterday, it says, "Great, we already have this episode." And it saves almost nothing. That's why a normal work week can feel slow while you're inside it, but disappear when you look back. Monday is exhausting. Tuesday is also somehow Monday. Wednesday is a legal rumor. Thursday is just pre-Friday wearing a fake mustache. And then suddenly it's Sunday night, and the entire week collapses into one folder called Stuff Happened. This is the cruel paradox of time. Boring time can feel slow while you're living it, and short after it's over. Because your present self measures time by attention, your future self measures time by memory. If you're waiting in a line, every minute has a little spotlight on it. You feel each second drag its tiny body across the floor. But later, if nothing memorable happened, that whole wait becomes a blank. Your brain doesn't save empty waiting, it saves events. So a year full of routine can feel busy, tiring, even stressful. But when you look back, it has almost no shape. It becomes fog. Meanwhile, one strange trip can feel huge in memory, even if it was only 3 days. Because new places force your brain to wake up. The hotel smells different. The streets don't make sense. The food is unfamiliar. You get slightly lost. You notice signs, faces, sounds, weather, tiny details. Your brain cannot run on autopilot, so it starts recording again. That is why the first day of a vacation often feels long, not because the sun slowed down, because your brain stopped deleting the scenery. And novelty is not the only thing that makes a moment stick. Emotion does it too. A scary moment, a beautiful moment, a humiliating moment where your soul briefly leaves the room and watches from the ceiling. Those get timestamps. Your first real failure. The phone call you still remember word for word. The day you got amazing news and the room suddenly looked brighter, like somebody adjusted reality in the settings menu. Your brain marks those moments as important. Not because they lasted longer, because they mattered louder. That is why 2 hours can vanish, and 2 seconds can stay with you for 20 years. Memory is not a stopwatch. It is a highlight reel made by a very dramatic editor. And this is where adulthood gets sneaky. As you grow up, you don't just gain years, you gain prediction. Your brain becomes better at guessing what happens next. It knows how your kitchen looks. It knows the route to the store. It knows what your phone will probably show you. It knows which drawer has the spoon that is technically a spoon but feels wrong and should not be used unless civilization has collapsed. Prediction is useful. It saves energy. It lets you move through life without manually inspecting every chair, door, cup, and sidewalk. But prediction also makes the world feel thinner, less surprising, less detailed, less worth saving. The brain says, "I know this place." And the moment it says that, the memory gets lighter. That's why novelty stretches time. Not permanently, not magically, but it gives your brain more to store. A new skill, a new route home, a conversation that actually surprises you, a room rearranged, a city you've never walked through, a hobby where you are bad enough to pay attention. Being a beginner is humiliating, but it is very good for time, because beginners cannot autopilot. They have to notice. And noticing is how days get weight. There is another reason childhood feels so massive. Life used to have chapters. First day of school, new grade, new teacher, new friend group, first bike, first sleepover. First time you realized adults also have no idea what's going on. Every year had built-in markers. The story kept changing rooms. Adult life can flatten into one long hallway. Same job, same apartment, same schedule. Same problems wearing different hats. And without chapters, time loses handles. You look back and ask, what happened this year? And your brain quietly checks the folder and says, mostly emails. This is why big changes become anchors. Moving, starting something, ending something, learning something, meeting people who alter the shape of your days. Those moments don't just fill time, they divide it. They give memory a place to grab. Now, this does not mean you need to turn your life into a motivational poster. You do not need to wake up at 5 a.m., climb a mountain, journal in a storm, and become the main character of a protein bar commercial. Routine is not the enemy. Routine is how humans survive without losing their keys every 7 minutes. The problem is total sameness. A life with no friction, no novelty, no attention, no chapters. That's when weeks vanish. So if you want time to feel slower, you cannot negotiate with the clock. The clock is deeply unreasonable. It just keeps doing clock things. But you can change what your brain saves. Break a pattern, take a different route, learn something badly, make a plan you will remember. Put your phone away during one ordinary moment and actually look at the room you're in. Not because mindfulness is magic, because attention is glue. It makes a moment stick. The strange truth is, life doesn't speed up because you run out of time. It speeds up when your brain stops making timestamps. So maybe the goal is not to live faster, or even slower. Maybe the goal is to give your life more edges, more first times, more little landmarks, more moments that don't immediately blur into every other moment. Because a year is not just the number of days you had, it's the number of days your brain decided were worth keeping. Which part felt most true to you? Tell me in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Now go look at something ordinary, like it's strange. Weird, right?